Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, it's been like a crazy thing just trying to go live. It has been absolutely freaking insane. Oh my god, like bear with me. I'm so glad if you guys are like just tuning in and you probably like, oh my god, like where have you been? You were supposed to be here at 8 o'clock. I'm so sorry. Like this is my first live, so bear with me. Don't be too hard on me. I'm so glad you guys can join me. Now, in this live, we're basically going to be talking about how to draw a portrait from a photo reference, as you can see in the description box. Yes, yes, and yes. So I hope you guys are in the right place. I hope you guys are ready to draw. I'm going to take you in a step-by-step tutorial on how to draw the portrait from a photo reference. I have a photo reference. I wasn't able to upload everything that I needed to put in the description box, but I will put everything after the live is over so that you guys can refer to it. The specific photo reference that I have, this is it here. I've already taken the liberty of printing it out. Here's my photo reference. Yes, yes, yes. This is my photo reference, and this will be available also if you guys want to refer to this photo reference. This will be available on my Patreon. I will also list that below. I think they charge you like $1 so you can get the reference photo. I actually took this photo myself. So these are free for you guys to use if you want to use this. I actually took this myself. This is a picture of my beautiful, gorgeous chocolate brown daughter. Yes. So, if you guys are new around here, my name is Danielle B from Creative Girl of Color, and welcome. If you like this sort of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so that you can know when I'm going live, when I'm late, and when I have all these issues going live. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Comment below and let me know that you can hear me. I won't be able to see all of your comments right now. Hopefully my daughter is going to be like trolling around in the comments if you guys are making comments and you have questions, and she can help me and relay those things to you. And let me know if you can see me, you can hear me. Again, this is my first live. Yay! So since this is my first live, I have no idea what's even going on, okay? No idea, right? I'm still like trying to get my life together, trying to figure it out, you know? I'm actually on my channel right now trying to find where I'm actually at right now. Where am I actually at? So that I can monitor the comments and see what you guys are actually talking about. Oh, okay, here I am. Here I am. Oh, okay, here I am. Here I am. Oh, okay, here I am. Oh, let me turn that down because you don't need to hear the feedback. I just need to see what you guys are saying. Okay, so I'm actually going to include after this live is over, I'm actually going to include everything that I'm doing in the description box below, including all the product links and materials. I'm going to be actually using my handy dandy, I'm going to be using my Prismacolor, my go-to pencils. That's what I'm going to be doing. So here's the materials. This is part of the materials. This is going to be part 1 of the portrait drawing. It's going to last probably, we're going to go to about 9:15, 9:30. And then I'm going to cut it off. And then stay tuned because next weekend we're going to go to the second part of this portrait. And let me bring you guys closer so that you can actually see me. Yeah, that would be nice. Hey guys, introduce yourself in the comments, talk, chat. Let me bring you up. Introduce yourself in the comments. Let people know where you guys are hailing in from. Tell me what type of content you would like to see on my channel. I really felt like YouTube needed this type of content. We really don't have, I don't think we really have like too many women YouTubers, especially African American women that are going to be representing for our culture, and that's going to be bringing you, I'm going to be bringing you different skin tones and a lot of black skin tones, as well as flowers and all sorts of other things. And of course, this is not the only type of thing that I know how to do. I know how to do everything. So make sure you guys subscribe so that you can stay tuned for all the activities that's actually going to be going down on my channel. So again, I'm going to be using, let's get into the tutorial, because I know you guys are like, oh my God, like she's just talking. Yes, because I'm like super excited, yeah? So I'm going to be using my Prismacolor, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. Prismacolor. And I'm going to link these up below so that you guys can grab some if you want. I know they come in a set. I actually got these from a local art store, so I didn't actually buy the whole set. But I like these Prismacolor erase. These are color erase pencils. They're like so awesome. Like, this is my favorite art material. And not only is it water soluble, right? These are great because when you painting in your portrait, after you draw your portrait in and you start to paint it, it will actually dissolve with water if you use an acrylic paint. If you use oil paint, it will actually start to dissolve with the Gamsol, which is absolutely awesome. So these are always my go-to. I can actually put these on my canvas back here. I can actually draw straight onto my canvas with my Prismacolor color erase, color erase, because they're erasable. Ow. Who doesn't want that? Yes, yes, and yes. And of course, you're going to see, I'm a mommy, right? So you're going to see baby, my mellow yellow. He's going to be in the background having a breakdown every once in a while. So hopefully you guys love kids, because it's going to be all sorts of activities and excitement and hustle and bustle in the background. It would be nice if he had on some pants though, right? It's going to be all over Google that this boy is walking around without no pants on, okay?
No, I am.
Okay, go ahead. All right, so let me bring you guys closer. Let's get a close-up of what's going on. So this is my canvas. I'm using a 18 by 24 canvas, but you can use any size that you want to. You can actually use paper. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, this reference photo, if you want to use this particular reference photo, is available on my Patreon, which I will link below when the live is over. So what I like to do when I start off with painting, of course, when you look at a blank canvas, it seems really daunting. It seems like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to get this done. What do I do? How do I do it? So for a beginner, I would really implore you not to even think about that part of it. I would like for you to think of it as like, when you look at a reference photo, I would like for you to think of it as like a bunch of shapes. Shapes, lines, silhouettes, clumps of hair. That's how I would like you to think of something when you're looking at a reference photo. Now, most people are not going to print it out. I decided to print it out because I work better when I print things out, because I mostly work in oils and I spend quite a bit of time painting in my portraits, sometimes several weeks, several days, several months. So for me, I prefer to print out my photos. You can also get a printer if you do not have a printer that is a photo printer. I like my photo printer. And it only was like 40 bucks or 50 bucks on Amazon that I bought it. I will also link that below in case you guys are interested in the printer that I use to print out my reference photos. And it comes out pretty good. I get pretty good quality from my HP photo printer. And you can also, the dope thing about it is that you can print it actually from your phone. So that's what I really, really enjoyed about it, right? So this is how I usually, with this particular printer, it comes out in an 8x11 paper. So if you want to transfer it or you want to be able to draw it and put it onto a bigger canvas, that's when we come into the difficulty. Now, if you get an 8x11, say, if you get an 8x11, whatever you call it, like canvas or something like that, like these, here's my Fredericks canvas pad, which I absolutely love. You can use these for studies. You can use it if you want to just paint something in real quick and practice. If you're a beginner, this is a great thing to get because these are actual canvas and the paper is really good. It's not actual paper, it's actual canvas cloth. So it's 100% cotton, and Frederick is a very good brand, so I would definitely recommend this. Now, if you get something like this, you can actually take your portrait, your 8x11, see it fits, right? That fits. You can actually turn around and you can take your 8x11 and you can actually get some transfer paper. If you guys don't know what transfer paper is, let me know down in the comments and I will try to help you as much as possible. You could actually get some transfer paper and you can go ahead and transfer it on to your canvas with the transfer paper. Draw right onto the face. You put your transfer paper right up onto the canvas itself, canvas paper itself. And then you would put your image on top. Your image would go on top. And then you would use your transfer paper. Okay, if you guys want to see what type of transfer paper I use, you could ask me about that. If you're looking at this on the replay, comment below and let me know if you want to see the transfer paper or you want to see that process or you need help with that, and I will definitely assist you guys with that, right? So now that we have this going, what I like to do to prep my canvas, since I'm using a canvas, this is a regular cotton canvas that I got from Michael's. It really doesn't matter. I like to take my handy dandy sanding paper. I like to have a smooth surface. I like to have a smooth canvas when I'm doing portraits in particular, because portraits is a delicate process. So I definitely want to start off with that. You want to have a clean surface and a smooth surface. So I quickly, now I would recommend that you guys use a mask so that you can you don't get any acrylic particles, because this does have a acrylic primed surface. So I recommend that you use a mask before you actually do that. And I'm just going to give it a once over, a quick once over. Just to kind of smooth. See, now everything's smoothed out. I kind of took off the first layer of grit off of that acrylic prime surface. Okay. So now I'm going to take some time to take some time out to look at your reference photo. And what you want to do is you want to figure out you basically want to figure out when you're dealing with your reference photo, you want to figure out the situationship. You want to figure out the situationship, like where is your portrait situated? Let's think about that. What is the environment? Are you going to change the background? You really want to take some time to actually plan out your composition when you're dealing with portrait drawing. You want to really take some time to plan that out so that not only you can get, not only is the portrait itself important, but the environment around the portrait is also very important. So I would definitely take out some time to think about that. Are you going to include whatever is in the background? Now, for this particular painting, I'm not going to include whatever's in the background. I just want her face, and I'm going to incorporate my own thing into the background. For you guys at home, or if you're watching it on the replay, you can incorporate whatever you want. And if you pick up this photo reference from Patreon, you can incorporate whatever you want. Yes? In the background. It really doesn't matter. But there's rules to composition. There's not many rules in art, but there's every once in a while there are a few rules to art where you can use the rule of thirds, where you want to divide your painting into thirds. And you would choose something really interesting to go in those thirds. So you would divide it up and try to put it into quarters at that point. But I'm not going to get too much into the rules of composition because that's not this video. This video is all about the portrait, how to break it down. And this video is going to be quite long. So make sure you guys get some tea, some coffee, some wine. It is Saturday night. Yes, yes, and yes, it is Saturday night. So relax. Enjoy. If you need to pause it and come back, go ahead and do that. Save it to your playlist so that you can watch it later. Like it, love it, so that you can be able to go and refer back to this later. And let's just have an easy time. We're going to go for like an hour. So it's going to be quite a long video, so you guys should definitely buckle up. Now, what I like to do is I like to figure out where now in this particular photo, I like to measure where she is in this photo. How far in is she? So I'm going to measure that. And you can get any type of ruler or whatever it is you need to get wherever you need to be. In my case, I have a T ruler, which I really enjoy. So basically, I'm going to measure. I like to measure how far down she is. I don't really need to do this because I've done enough portraits to kind of, eyeball it and figure out where she is in that portrait. But for you beginners, I would suggest that you really measure things out carefully in the beginning. Measure where she is in the portrait. How many inches down is she? Okay. And in this case, she seems to be, and you could even go here with it because that's why you have a T ring, right? You want to measure how far her face down is, yeah? She's about 2 inches down from the top, right? So 2 inches down from the top. And then you would, when you go down here, she is 3 to 4 inches inward. Okay? So she's 3 to 4 inches this way, the way she's orientated. And she is 2 inches from the top. So you could actually transfer that onto your larger canvas. It doesn't matter with that. This is a smaller reference photo. You think about it, you would go at least 1 to 2 inches down. Yeah? Depending on how big you want your portrait to be, you would go about 1 inch down. And on this, I could put my little T-ring up there. And see how the T-ring sits right on top. I don't need any help with that. So I will go 1 inch down. At least 1 inch down. At least 1 inch down, and then I will go 3 inches this way. But in this case, this is a bigger canvas, so you would probably want to double that size because of the fact of the way it is. But even 6 inches over, that's too far over as far as I'm concerned. So I would go 3 to 4 inches over and about 3 inches down to know where I want to put her, where I want her to be situated in position on the canvas. Now again, I don't usually do it because I've done it enough to know that where I want things to be and how I want things to be, you know? Okay, so let me zoom you guys in so you can actually see me start drawing. Okay, that's good. It's looking pretty good. Let me see if I can zoom you in. Hey guys, if you're here, hey E, the Vex Cat, what's poppin', everybody? Those are. Let me see if I can read the comments so I can see what you guys are saying before I get started. Oh yes, Kimmy Glow Angel says those are my favorite to sketch with. Yes, indeed. I love these pencils. They're absolutely the bomb. And the fact that you can get them in different colors is super dope. Because if you're a type of person that you only draw and like you just draw, you don't really paint, and you want to get these, you can get them in different colors. Because I have them in different colors. I actually have them in blue and I have them blue, purple, pink, different colors because that's what you need basically when you're dealing with Prismacolor, which is super exciting. And hey guys, Kimmy, yes, watching, but baby boy is having some meltdowns. Don't worry about it. Yes, I got my son. Believe me, he gonna start having a breakdown. Believe me, if you guys can't watch the whole thing, don't worry yourselves too much. I'll be on here for about an hour. You can always pause it, like I said, or come back and make sure you share it to your make sure you save it to a playlist, or you can even like it and go back into your like videos and refer back to this later, because this will actually, thank God, with YouTube, these things save. So these will actually save and be up on my channel for the duration, pretty much. Okay, so let's get started. I didn't want to pull out the super bright lights because I didn't want you guys to not be able to actually see. That would have been way too blown out. So I'm going to choose the red Prismacolor pencil. And I'm like at a weird angle, but I am pretty much, I feel like I want her over here. Now I'm going to choose the direction of where I want her, right? And I want her to I want her to be the focal point of the photo, of the portrait painting. So I'm going to leave not too much space at the top, okay? Because I want her to be about right here. And the key is how I like to usually do things. Now, this is just my method, and there's many, many methods out there. So don't feel like you only have to do it this one way. There's many, many methods to drawing a portrait. As long as you get the end result and you get it the way you want to, and it seems like it is in perspective, it seems like the anatomy is accurate. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You know, just get the fundamentals down and go into your own lane at this point. Now, how I like to do things is I like to figure out the orientation. I like to figure out the orientation of her face, right? So the tilt, basically the head tilt. Now, you guys should definitely check out the Riley method because that's a method of drawing faces and life drawing. You should definitely check out life drawing and actually practice drawing from life, like draw different things around your house and things like that, so that you can get comfortable with the drawing process, because unfortunately that is a big part of being an artist. You can't just always, you don't always have the chance to just like transfer things onto a painting. So I want to look at the head tilt, right? She seems to have is somewhat of an angle here, right? Somewhat of an angle. So I try to get that head tilt down first, meaning I'm going to get the bottom of her chin and where the top of her head is, so I can get a guide to where the orientation is of her head. Once I get that orientation down, then I can start filling in the rest of the portrait and not have any worries about how things are going to look, because you can't just worry about the accuracy of the anatomy. You also have to try to get the head tilt in properly, especially if you're going to go into realism and things like that. Let me see. What are you guys saying? Okay. Yeah, so let's start it out. I'm actually going to paste her here so that I can get a chance to actually see what's going on. And I'm going to put my marks in to give me a guideline. Put my marks in up here because I want to have about 1 to 2 inches from the top. And let me zoom you guys in just a little smidge. And I want to have it 1 inch from the top. You're going to see as things start to come in what things are going to look like. And I want to have her head. Now her head seems to take up 1/3 of the page. So I'm going to, and again, I'm just estimating. Now, when you start to do your own, I would suggest that you use a ruler to estimate where the head is. And when you get into like portrait drawing, that's a whole nother thing where usually the normal human adult body is made up of about 8 heads, 7 to 6 heads for women. So if she's about here, about a third down, then you would go another third for maybe the neck, or a little bit less than a third for the neck, and another third. But it depends on how much of her legs you want to put in. I'm not doing a whole portrait. I'm only going to be doing half from the torso up, and you're only going to be seeing a little bit of her legs. So pretty much I'm going to put her head about here. And you can always adjust things. That's what I suggest, that you, when you start drawing things in, you need to draw them in very lightly. Very, very lightly. So I'm going to get my chin here. And I'm just doing a light mark. My chin is about there. And then as my chin is about there, I'm going to start making my marks. It is good if you guys take some time out to learn a little bit of anatomy and how the face structures are, the bone structures are. You could actually use your own head to feel the bone structures, how your face flows down, you know, because you have different planes in the face. Yes, 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 and yes, and don't forget you have your cheekbones. And after your cheekbones, you have a large dip. Very large dip. Let me go up a little bit. And let me go in some more. So you have a very large dip that goes down the cheekbone here. And that's your mouth. That's your mandible. If you feel on your mouth, you can see that it's an indent from your cheekbone down to the end of your jaw. It's a large dip. Start to get real comfortable with your body parts here. Start to get real comfortable, peeps. Real comfortable. I'm just adjusting the camera so you can see it. There you go. Now let me come in a little bit. Okay, so you have a large dip, which is right here. This is your jaw. This is her jaw. And actually, let me put it up here so you guys can see it. So she has a very large dip there. And that's everybody. This is usually anatomy 101 here. Yeah? And you have this round part. You have different planes on the side of the face. Usually the sides of your face tend to dip down and you have like a flatter surface that goes here. So again, concentrate and try to learn your planes of your face. And step back from time to time. Step back from your workspace, your surface, so that you can see it at a different perspective. When you're right up on it, you're not going to be able to see it the way you need to. Now this is actually going to be the sides of her head. So I'm going to actually end up drawing in See, you guys can see I got the little silhouette going, the silhouette. I'm going to actually end up having to stand up so that I can actually see it from a distance. And I'm just drawing in her little... You know, the crazy thing about portraits is that, and this is why it's kind of difficult, especially to do portraits for people, because people, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're seeing yourself in as a mirror image, so to speak, versus when you actually see yourself in a portrait aspect. Like if somebody paints you, draws you, they see you in as a viewer, they see you in an objective manner. So a lot of times people may, like, you know, you may get people that are upset, like, oh, that's not how I look, my nose ain't that big, you know, my lips ain't that big, my eyes don't look like that, da 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 da, whatever, right? Mind you, hello, yes it does, it looks like that. You know, I can tell you, you know, sometimes it's so, being a portrait artist is a tricky business, because sometimes people don't feel like they look like they really do. You feel what I'm saying? So this is the top of my head here. Now, what you do is, once you get the little silhouette in here of the head, how basic anatomy is, how basic portrait drawing is, you want to break your face down into thirds, pretty much. From hairline, right? Hairline. Let's draw my baby's little hairline in. My boo. So you got hairline. And I'm just going to roughly sketch this in. I don't need to be too accurate in this aspect, right? And as I draw her hairline in, you can kind of start to see a better silhouette coming in of how things are going to be. We probably have like a little bit of a delay, guys, in case you guys are just tuning in. I'm kind of adding more of her hairline in. Okay, so you want to break your hair, you want to break your portrait down into thirds. Thirds meaning from hairline to eyebrows, right? Remember, eyes are not on your forehead. Eyes are in the middle of your face. So if you happen to draw this silhouette in, you want to make sure that you go from hairline down to, let me get my handy dandy, whatever this is, my little T thing, yeah? Now, I actually need my other one. Alright, I grabbed my other ruler. I grabbed my other ruler. Da 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 da. And what you actually can do is, when you actually are using a reference photo, you can take your ruler and you can measure each part to actually see if they are equal. Now, if you get equal parts, because she's a little less than an inch from hairline to eyebrow. Okay, so that we go down that same line, right? From eyebrow, you guys with me? From eyebrow to the tip of the nose, that should be another third, which is still equal and symmetrical. Now remember, everybody is not created equal. Some people have, you know, different features, different anatomy, different defaults, but this is the normal, average equations for when you're dealing with portrait drawing. So that's another third from eyebrows to the tip of the nose, and from tip of the nose to the chin, that's another third. Okay, so I pretty much established a baseline that my baby's face is symmetrical. It is 1/3 broken down into equal parts, right? So pretty much I can use that same baseline information that I got from my reference photo, that my baby is 1/3, right? And head on over to my portrait drawing and go down that same line. However large I drew her head, it doesn't matter. You still want to be 1/3, pretty much 1/3 down the way, right? And right, I've established her head tilt. We know she's from the side. I started with the chin, went to the top of the head. I followed that line around, right? So now what I'm going to do to help me even further is I'm going to get me a center line, right? Which the center line is going to even more reinforce the angle of her face, right? So I'm going to draw that line right down the middle of her hair, down to where the nose is. You're drawing that line to know, okay, this is my head tilt, right? This is how things is looking. Even though her head is not really tilted, she is looking to the side. She's like almost at a side profile. So I'm going to draw my center line down the middle till I meet it down to the end of the chin. Yeah? So I got my center line in, yeah? Everybody with me? So I pretty much got my center line in. And we established, because if you look at the reference photo, my daughter has somewhat of a side profile. Everything's going down this way, yeah? So I need to do the same thing on here. Now you can also use a grid method, which I'm not teaching on this particular live, but you can Google get grid method if you're looking for that, or you can look it up on YouTube, grid method for portrait drawing. But I'm not doing that. I don't really, that's not my thing. I don't really care for the grid method too much. So I like to just draw it out. And I do most of my drawings, I draw everything out from the beginning most times. So then we're going to look at the eyes. Where's her eyes? Remember, eyes are not on the forehead. They are in the middle of the head. We've already established that her head is symmetrical. We've broken it down into thirds. 1, 2, 3. So we pretty much want to make sure that we get our eyes. Basically, the eyes are in the middle of the head. So you would establish, where is she looking? Where is her eyes going? Where is the head tilting? Right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down the middle, which is about right here. I'm kind of at an awkward position here. So and since I'm at an awkward position, I kind of drew her center line in like real weird. And see, the good thing about these pencils, they real dope. They can be erased. I'm probably going to end up having to stand up because this is a very awkward position. Try to get it in the middle. If you can't do that, you know what? Let me get it this way. You could also use your ruler to figure out where her eyes are, yeah? And what the tilt is. Now, her left eye is a little bit lower than the right, which is okay because that's human, right? That's the regular anatomy. So, I'm pretty much going to do the same thing over here. And I'm just going to get my ruler and I'm going to draw my line across. And there we go, right? So we drew our line across. You can't really see her ears, but usually, if you want to know about the ear, if you feel your own ear, most human ears are about the same position. There's no deviating from that, right? So the ear is going to be, the top of the ear is usually a little bit above, right? A little bit above. A little bit below your eyes. The top is going to be a little bit below where your eye ends. And the bottom of your ear is usually going to be about your jawline, which you can actually see. Right? So you can actually end up doing that and drawing that in. Now, if you feel your jaws, no matter which way you're looking, your jaw is always going to go upward. So you're going to have that little dip here right by the ear. And it's going to go down and then around. Yeah? You guys feeling that? You loving it? What? Are you feeling it? Are you loving it? What's really going on? What's happening in the world of YouTube right now? Are you feeling it or are you loving it? And remember, this is a slow process. This is not a race. It is not a marathon. Take your time. Take your time. I've taken many, many days just to draw out a portrait and many, many months to paint in a portrait. It's not that serious. If you are doing commissions, your clients can wait. Just explain to them the process, and it is up to them whether they want to continue on in purchasing the commission from you or not. Explain to them what it is, what's really good, what's really happening. That's why I'm just taking my time. I'm not really rushing through this. Now, your chin. Don't worry about details at this point. We're not doing details at this point. We just getting into fundamental large shapes. Once you get these fundamental large shapes blocked in, then you can go ahead and start with the details and start fiddling around. A lot of people have a hard time with portraits because you don't take your time, and you start worrying about being too accurate, and not accurate. You start worrying about getting things out. Everybody, in the world of social media, everybody wants to do things quickly. Bam, bam, bam. I need things to happen right now. Stuff like that. And that's just not the way things go. Things do not just happen right now. Not in the world of, portrait drawing. Now, as you can see, right here, I'm going to start drawing in. Like I said, I'm blocking in where I see marks. Just blocking in line. Her neck dips in right about here, right? Because she's turning her head. And that's going to go right up underneath this chin. Now again, draw these lines in very lightly so that you can make adjustments and you don't have all these dark marks. Now, I would suggest that you don't use graphite on this. If you happen to use graphite, like if you have a regular number 2 pencil and I forgot about that. I'm so sorry, guys. If you have a regular number 2 pencil and you don't have the color pencils that I'm using right now, I would recommend that you use a fixative or some sort of glazing liquid, some sort of, not varnish, but a fixative. You can go to Michael's, any craft store, buy a fixative. After you've done blocking this in, you buy your fixative, and when you're happy with the portrait, you spray it down. It will give you a clear, protected coat, and then that way when you start to paint, none of that graphite starts to bleed into your painting. You feel what I'm saying, peeps? Yes, indeed. Okay, so now let's okay, now that I've established the little head part, right? And I'm also gonna kind of dip in. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna kind of dip in the shoulders, which you're not gonna really see too much because my babe is having and remember, I'm not going all the way to the end. I'm still going off the guidelines of where she's located in my reference photo. Now, if you thinking about the anatomy of the shoulders, which I'm not going to get too in depth in this particular portrait, but I will give you some pointers. If you're thinking about the anatomy of the shoulders and things like that, remember that all of these structures connect to each other. The scapula, which is that bone right there in the neck, right up here, that collarbone, that's what we call it, the collarbone, right? That scapula, and I'm at a weird angle, so I'm not really seeing it properly, but you get what I'm saying. That scapula is actually connected right to your there's a lot of different structures in the neck. Again, I would recommend that you guys refer to your anatomy if you can. But a quick breakdown, there's a lot of different structures. You have your scapula, which is right here in the neck. That's your collarbone. And scapula, right? Scapula is in your back. That bone that looks like a wing in your back, that's a scapula. Your bone in your neck, which is right there underneath your neck, that is a clavicle. Your clavicle and your scapula, those bones connect to each other. That's why you have that wing right here. So you're going to go scapula, clavicle. Those are two things. Those are sisters. They go hand in hand. You can't move your hand without it. So you got clavicle, scapula, yeah? And then you have, there's a large, I don't know what this is, a ligament. No, this is no, I'm thinking ligament. I don't know. I have to refer back to it, but the technical term of it, I'm not sure what it is, but it's a little thing right here in your neck. And as you turn your neck, you're going to see that little wave right there because these are the structures, and it's another one here. However, in women, you are not going to see this as much because that's how women are structured. We have a lot of soft tissues. We have a lot of fat. Now, in men, you may see it a lot more, especially if they're really muscular. They have, a lot of those structures are really readily seeable and available on there. So you're going to see a lot of that, you know. But now moving on. Here we go again. Again, I'm just placing in my little clavicle. I don't know why I want to say scapula and everything. Now, remember, the angle of her head, right? The angle of her head, you're not going to see all of this. You're not going to see that scapula, which is right here. You're not going to be able to see that. So you should not be drawing that whole thing in because you're going to change the whole orientation of her face and head. Yeah, buddy. We getting down to the finish line. I don't know what time is. Anybody keeping time? Okay, it's 9:06. We're gonna end in the next 20 minutes. I don't want to bore you guys to death. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. You're loving it, yeah? You're feeling it. You're feeling the vibes. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, so let's go into the eyes here. Now that we established that there are thirds to the face, I am going to look at, hey guys, if you're just tuning in, welcome to tonight's portrait drawing. I'm your girl, Danielle B. from Creative Girls of Color, and we are in the thick of it here. We are in the third stage of this portrait drawing. I've already blocked in my big areas, my big spaces. If you like this sort of content, make sure you guys subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Okay, now this reference photo is available on my Patreon, which I will post below when this live is over, and you guys can reference it and you can use it for your own art. You can use my baby's photo for your own art. She ain't got no choice. She ain't got no choice because I'm the mama. She ain't got no choice. Okay, so I'm the mama. I had her, so I get to use her photos. That's right. Haha. All right, so let's get to the eyes here. Now, when you're dealing with the eyes, you got to think about the orientation of the face. We've already established she's looking to the side. So you're not going to see this much of her face. So the eye is going to be planted way over there somewhere, right? Remember, eyes are closer together. You're only going to have probably 1/3 of a space in between each eye. And the length, between the nose should actually be the same width of an eye. So you should not have your eyes way, way, way apart or you know, really off and weird. It would be really awkward if you had that going on. You know what I'm saying? And yes. All right, so let's begin. I probably should have had, but I'm just going to do a regular eye shape. And I'm going to guide you through it. Now, I put these guidelines here to help me and as well as help you to know where I need to place things. The upper lid should be here. The lower lid should be below the line. So I'm going to place this eye. Again, these are rough shapes. These are really rough shapes here, yeah? And then I'm going to go right up under here. You see? We're starting to get that eye in. Let me come in some more so you guys can see some more. Hey, guys. Okay, so I did my little almond shape here. Now, structures of the eye. I'm not going to get too much in depth into it. You have the white part, which is the sclera, right? Sclera is the white part of the eye. And then you have the pupil, which is that dark part in the middle. And then you have the iris, which is that ring. The iris of the storm. And then you have this little piece in here, which is like the water ducts and stuff like that. That's the little white meaty piece in the middle. Now, you got to think about where's her eye looking. Her eye is looking here. Now, when you draw this eyeball in, you're not going to just go boom, like draw like a half of a moon of a circle. What you need to do is you need to draw a full circle, right? So we're going to establish that. And remember, we're drawing this stuff in lightly. We're drawing a full circle, full circle. She's looking sideways, so we need to draw a full circle. That way when you draw that other lid in, because I haven't drawn any lids in, this is just a basic outline. You draw that lid in, you'll be fully prepared and ready to roll. What I like to do is, okay, what I like to do is I like to jump around so that I can make sure that both eyes are where I need them to be. Now if I look over here, she's pretty symmetrical. It's pretty a straightforward thing, even though one side is a little bit lower, which is okay. And then I'm going to space it out. Remember, there's only an eye length space between each eye. So her nose is right up here. I'm going to start that indent for the nose. Remember the skull, you have your eye socket in your skull. You have your eye socket, your eyeball lays in the eye socket. That's why you have that big indent right there. So, and you have your brow bone. It's only a little bit of a hair length of a space in between where your eye ends and your nose begins. The bridge of your nose begins. So I'm going to start that little. You also got to think about eyebrows. Where's her eyebrows looking? Does she have high eyebrows? What's really going on with the eyebrow section? Really need to think about that when you think about stuff. Let me look at you guys and see what you're talking about. Yes, you feeling it? Thank you so much. Somebody's feeling it in the comments. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. Somebody's loving it, yeah? Okay, so the eyebrows are pretty low. So we're going to go about right here. Now, everybody's eyebrows is different. I'm not actually putting in eyebrows right now. I'm putting a brow bone. Yeah? Yes, yes, and yes. That's that brow bone. But I'm not even going to go all the way around because that's going to indicate eyebrows. I'm just trying to get the bridge of that nose in at this point. And then I'm going to go down. You want to go down? You want to go downtown? So remember, we have our little guides. These are our guides. Now, you can also take this a bit further, like with the Riley method, and you can actually map out your planes, right? Your planes in your face. Now, the planes in your face, right? We map out the planes in our face. We're going to have these different areas, like right here, right? Right here is going to be one plane. That's like one flat plane of surface. And then we have these little, and these are bones underneath here, right? You can go as far as you want to go to get an accurate portrait. So we mapping out our planes of the face, and then you have a whole another plane over here, right? Now this is all the beginning or the side. This is the front of our face here, yeah. And this is the side of the face because we forgot about that, right? We can incorporate that even though we made it a big oval. We just got in those big general shapes. So this is the side of the face where the ear is going to be, but her hair is covering the side of the face, so you're not going to see it. Now on the side of her face, her brow bone is right here. So you can make a little indent. So like I said, and then you have your actual your cheekbones, they land right up underneath that eye. Right up underneath the eye. So remember that. And your nose, in the past when I began portrait drawing, I used to draw a lot of my portraits with the noses too long. Like it was like Snuffleupagus. It was like Snuffleupagus. What's going on? What's popping? You want some Snuffleupagus portraits, yeah? So I realized that I really needed to really delve into it and figure out, you know, what I'm doing and things like that. All that jazz, right? So I really buckled down and started to really think about my anatomy and how things go, you know, paying attention to a lot of different things. And I realized that your nose, the bottom of your nose should actually be right where your cheekbones end, right? Also, a quick way to do a quick nose, and then you can put in the details after that. Remember, this is the blocking in stage. It's the same thing with painting. A quick way to do your nose is I do like a little triangle. Here's my triangle, right? My baby has a little nose, and I do that triangle in nice and soft. Um, so even though I put my little triangle in, that gives me a guideline of where things need to go. As well as you have a little indent right here. Your brow bone, it goes right around here. And remember, this is a slow process. It's not a marathon, peeps. It's not a marathon. You can do your little triangle. Once you get your little triangle in, then you can actually turn around and start popping in details. Don't worry about any details now. Don't start filling in anything. It's too much going on. It's too much. Now, since this eye seems to be a slight bit lower, and remember, there's only a small length between each eye. So I'm actually going to plant my eye, the other eye, right about here. Because it's not that much space, you know? And again, I'm going to put the top lid. I'm going to go down. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to put my top lid. Remember, this is not a marathon. You probably didn't hear that, but my phone is about to go dead, peeps. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this because it's a long process. You want to take your time here. And you want to do your little almond shape up here. And remember, but think about the angle of how things go down. Yeah? You want to think about that. I'm going slow for you guys because I want you to be able to get it. And then you have your little lower lid right about here. Remember the structures of your eye. Think about those structures of the eye. Think about those structures of the eye. Again, you can always alter this as you see fit. That's why I say draw lightly, because you can always alter this. Okay, and then the other eye, remember we're doing a circle. We're not doing a weird half oval. We're doing a circle. Circles are our friend. Bam. So we got both eyes in, guys. We're making progress. Now, right now, she's looking absolutely insane. But that's okay that she's looking absolutely insane. Because if you know your anatomy and you really practice and you really put in the work, you can figure out how to make her not look insane. And you can always remeasure, right? Now, this right here is going to be our little, I'm putting that in lightly, our little cheekbones. Remember, cheekbones and the end of the nose, the nose sits right in between the end of the cheekbones. Yeah? So this is anatomy of the face. Break it down, break it down. Break it down. Now, here's a whole nother story. That's a whole different thing altogether here. I will probably, when we have another session next week Saturday, I'll probably be live next week Saturday or maybe the week after that, because I'm planning something very special for you guys. It's going to be my Black History Month series. So I'm definitely going to be planning that. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to actually finish this particular piece in between now and then. But we'll get into a whole nother section of hair. You could also take some time to put in your little hairline if it makes you feel good. You know, because the middle of her hairline goes right down the middle of her nose. Goes right down the middle of the nose. So clumps of hair, you need to think about, when you think about hair, you want to think about clumps of hair, not strands. So you don't want to have like a stringy head, weird doll looking thing, right? You want to have clumps of hair. Clumps of hair. I can't even talk. Like I don't know what's going on. My accent is like preventing me from saying hair. And I'm like hair, like I'm from Boston, hair. Whatever, I don't know. Okay, so when you think about the mouth is broken up into two parts pretty much. The mouth, not the mouth, the jaw. The whole mandible, your jaw, pretty much from the bottom of your nose to the end of your chin is considered to be your jaw, your mandible. You have an upper mandible and you have a lower mandible. Now, when you think about that, you would break those in half, and the half mark would be your lips, right? So you would be here. And then you want to think about, what is her mouth doing? Let's look at the nuances of her mouth. What is her mouth doing? What is it saying? What is really happening? I didn't even actually get into eyelids. Now, right? Let me go back. I don't want to get into the mouth right now. Let's get into these eyelids. You have upper and lower eyelids. But those upper and lower eyelids have so many folds and sections. So you still want to use the contours. Now that you put in your eyeball, your iris, your pupil, whatever you want to call it, now you can start adding that lid. And you still want to follow the contours of your sitter's face. Yeah? And now she's looking a little more normal now that I put that eyelid in. Again, I'm doing the same thing on this side. That's why you did that circle. That way when you go over with this lid, you will look, the eyeball will look normal. It will look like it actually belongs there. Again, with this bottom lid, you have another fold, another like little rim that goes inside the eye. Goes right up in there. You see that lid? You can see it in your own eye. Refer to your own eye to figure out where that lid is, where that brim is. Now she's starting to look more like a woman. I already put my little lid there, so I'm going to go down a little further, and it's going to be a small piece there. And you're going to follow that same lid. We all have that little drop, or some people have bags, some people have larger drops, or whatever you want to call it there. You know, it just depends. And you also have to ask your sitter or the person that you're drawing, do you want bags in your eyes? Do you want your bags to be visible? Are you loving your bags? What's really happening? You need to ask those questions. So, you know, it's very important. Very important, darling. Okay? I'm not going to put in eyelashes because at this point, I usually don't put in eyelashes. I wait until... We can actually put in her little pupils, though. Pupils are not that big, so you don't want to do like a little dot going in the direction that you want to actually have the eyeball going. I'm going to do a little dot, right? Now she's looking more normal. It's looking more normal. Anyway, so if you guys decide to actually do this particular tutorial, if you guys decide to move ahead and you're more advanced, you're intermediate, you just needed to brush up on your skills, and you decide to move ahead and actually purchase the reference photo from my Patreon, make sure you guys tag me on Instagram, hashtag Creative Girls of Color on Instagram, girls with the S instead of girl, so hashtag Creative Girls of Color. And or you can just shoot me a message and or email so I can see you guys' creations. See what you're creating with the reference photo. I would love to see it. I would love to see your progress. I'm not going to be able to finish too much more for tonight because we've gone, it's 9:30, guys. We've been on here a little over an hour. Woo! That was a pretty good session. I hope you guys got a lot out of this session. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed teaching you guys about the nuances of anatomy. Yes? And let me bring this down a little bit. And let me bring this out because that's weird. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad I can show you guys my process, help you out a little bit through your process. on my channel, I feel like I really believe that when you find your purpose, when you find your passion, you find your purpose. And my job is to help you guys find your purpose through art. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. For those of you that have, if you are on the replay, introducing yourself in the comments, I would really appreciate it. And tell me what type of content you would like to see going forward. Yes, and I'm going to put all of the things in the description box. Head over to the Patreon if you want to support my channel. And if you want access to exclusive content, I'm going to be doing mostly all of my oil painting tutorials on my Patreon. So hit me up on there, guys. I love you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful night wherever you are in the world. The links that are going to be in the description box are basically for the US mostly. I don't know. I'm going to try to find, if you are interested and you want to know where you can find the particular products I'm using in this video in the UK or anywhere around the world, just hit me up and then I will try to help you out. And I will catch you guys. I don't know. Like, I don't even know. Like, how do you even end this thing? Oh, okay. I will catch you guys on the next one. I'll be uploading every Tuesday and Thursday. Good night.